pole down the line, and he's going to be out of here. Line down the right field line toward the pesky pole. Leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our Nesson team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Welcome to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. I'm your host, the Ritt. With me is my man DC, and we have with us a returning guest from the Portland Sea Dogs, Mr. Hunter Dobbins. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be back on and talking with you guys.
So, first off, Greenville, the drive, win the championship. You were part of that for, the whole first part of the half the season. So what are your thoughts, the emotions when you heard that they won the whole championship?
It was really cool. I was really happy for those guys. I know they kind of hit a rough stretch, but then really turned it back on in the postseason. It was really good to see those guys click on all cylinders again. They did a great job of, just rallying together. And then up in Portland, we're sitting there watching every single postseason game on our TV in the locker room. I remember I want to believe it was Hudson Valley they were playing. Mm-hmm. We came in right after our game was over, and the entire locker room was pretty much in there just locked in on that game. And when they won, we went off and we're celebrating almost like we just won the thing.
So, the transition. Last time you were on, you just got called up to Portland and stuff. So, I was looking over your stats, and don't take this as a negative. Your stats when you were in Greenville were 2.63 ERA, but then it got a little higher once you went to Portland. So. And we all know that you have to get the adjustments, everything like that. So, what was the difference, going up there to Portland than it was in Greenville?
The biggest difference up there is the hitters are a lot more kind of selective. They're really patient. If you're going to strike them out, you got to strike them out in the strike zone. The chase rates, I feel like, go way down. Mm-hmm. There's just the game up in Portland and AA, AAA, and obviously the big leagues is so mental. Guys have an approach. They don't break from their approach as much. So I think it was just a little bit of a learning curve of really, finding myself in that environment, finding my way to think through and use my pitches the best. And my last couple of weeks were by far probably my best in Portland.
Yeah.
Granted, other than giving up a solo or a 2-run home run, that would basically be the only damage I'd give up in the game, which, if I give up a solo shot or a 2-run bomb in the first or second inning and then go through 6 innings without giving up another run, I'll take that trade-off any day of the week. Plus, I guess if you're going to give them up, you might as well give up ones that are fun to watch instead of getting, singled to death. But, yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to the hitters up there. It's you learn to pitch and not just throw, and then you learn how to basically play the game at a big league level, and hopefully that transitions into next year, and hopefully I'm moving on up a couple levels.
Yeah. Speaking of the hitters are getting better. Portland, man, it seemed like all the key guys on our farm system were there in Portland almost at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, what was it like? All the extra reporters, all the extra coverage, for people to see Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, CT, Kyle Teal at the end of the season, came up there so quick. What was it like with all that extra attention on you guys?
It was really cool. There for a while, it gives you kind of a little glimpse into the big leagues. Obviously not to that extent, But you start kind of realizing like, hey, if we don't perform, it's going to get out there. If we do perform, we got the coverage. I mean, you got the interviews going on. It's really cool. And what I enjoyed about it was there's a few guys that, were kind of under the radar, but thanks to that extra given coverage have now gotten their name out there and people are realizing like, oh, this guy's really, really good. Like, and they're getting excited over him. So I think it obviously benefited guys like Marcelo and Nick York, Teal, Anthony. But I think the guys who really benefited from it are the guys who, like I said, are under that radar and just kind of had a good season. And now thanks to that added coverage from the top guys is now making a name for themselves.
So obviously you had the COVID, season and your rehab, and I think you came back in June in 2022, if I'm correct,
yes.
around there.
Yeah.
So it was like having a full season under your belt, kind of get back in some normalcy.
I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely showed me the challenges of a full pro season. Granted, I did miss the first month of the year this year, thanks to getting sick in spring training. But I mean, I still, even with missing that month, I was able to throw 113 innings and kind of finish on par for starting pitchers. But, I learned a lot about what to do to keep my body ready, especially late in the season. But it was definitely good to finally be back out there and have a semi-normal season because it's been a long time coming.
Does going through that kind of change your how you go about your off season? Like, do you kind of take a little bit of time to reset, or you just stay right into it, on the grind? Like, do you take a break or anything?
No. So you take some time to mentally reset, but at the same time, it's almost, you flip the switch and you start building your body back up for next year because you want to show up as strong as you can be and just be ready to go. Especially, I'm hoping I am in that AAA and big league conversation next year. So, I mean, I got to get my body ready to go for, the goal is 162 plus games. And, if you take too long off, I'm not going to be in that spot that I want to be. And so you just kind of keep on rolling.
So you sit there and said about, next year you want to be in the big league, you want to be in the AAA conversation. So what are you doing to prepare for that? Because spring training is only 4 months away.
So we kind of started preparing for it still at the end of the season. We've actually changed the shape of my slider to more of I know this is a hot word in baseball world right now, but a sweeper. There's a lot of debate going on over that, but so turn it into more of a sweeper. We're adding another pitch in a cutter. And so basically just kind of kicking up my arsenal a little bit, learning how to use the new pitches, doing some strength work, trying to add a little bit more velo on the fastball. And just, I guess, mostly just getting the body ready to handle the stress of a long full season.
Who are you working with on the sweeper and the cutter, if I can ask?
One of our head pitching coordinators, Chris Mears. He's kind of the head guy he's the tip of the spear when it comes to it. And then our AA pitching coach, Sean Isaac, is a big part of it as well.
Okay. DC?
I mean, outside of baseball in the off season, you got anything else going on? Something fun to do, get your mind off of it?
A little bit, playing some golf, just enjoying the time home with my wife, and try to take a deep breath on the mental side. It'll be a little easier now that the World Series is over, and don't gotta watch baseball or anything, and just taking that step back. And now I'm selling cars at a Ford dealership in the off season, so that gives you a little distraction as well.
So knowing that we got Craig Breslow as our new operations manager, and knowing that one of the biggest problems that we had was starting pitching, and knowing that Breslow is a pitching guy coming into this, former, pitcher, does it put a little more added stress on yourself, or, for you to get ready? Because, we're starting pitching in the Red Sox organization is kind of thin, so to kind of work your way up there, quickly, or more quicker than what you think you're ready for.
I don't think it adds any stress. I mean, I already try to push myself to the most I can to get ready, and be that guy that when they need an option, I want to be that guy. I'm excited to learn from Craig. I actually have a close buddy of mine here at home that plays for the Cubs, and he's a pitcher as well. And he told me that he's a great guy and a great baseball mind. So I'm looking forward to learning from him, benefiting from it, and then just being ready when my name is called.
So, in Double A itself, at the end of the season, there's a lot of great pitching prospects down there. Most of it was on the bullpen side. Alex Hoppe, CT. What were your thoughts being, if the Red Sox, once spring training comes, wants to move you to the bullpen to advance you on?
I mean, I'm going to be open to anything that helps the big league club and helps me get to that point as well. I can say from college experience, I'm more effective as a starter, just because I'm a very routine oriented pitcher. But you know what? If it comes down to it, and they come to me and say, "Hey, we think you're a big league reliever, and we think you can help us long term there," I'm not going to turn my nose up at it, because the main goal is to bring back a World Series to Boston. And if my role in that is a reliever, then so be it.
DC?
Yeah, he brought up CT. We had him on the show. Obviously, I wasn't able to. Sorry, my daughter's going crazy in the background. I didn't get the opportunity to really speak with him, but Josh said, seems like a really cool dude. What was your relationship with him?
I love the guy. So CT and I actually go back to right when we got drafted. We were roommates when we were going through orientation and all that. And, at first it was kind of funny because I was like, oh, like, I'm this West Texas guy. They just stuck me with a kid from SoCal. Like, we'll see how this goes. And next thing I know, we're just like, we just hit it off, and we're good friends. We still talk and check in with each other, even though he's in Arizona right now. But, I mean, he's one of the best guys I know, and he's also one of the smartest guys I know. Listening to that guy talk is just, you just stop and listen and kind of soak it in. But, I think he's got a really bright future, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
Well, Hunter, I got to ask a question, because last time you were on, you brought up Mr. Nathan Hickey, and every time that, you move up, he moved on. But you guys got to play, a half a season together in Portland. So what was it like, throwing to him in the backstop, compared to he's here and, he's gone a week later after you come up?
It was a lot of fun. I love Hickey already. It's kind of the person he is. He's just a fun guy to be around. Catching wise, there towards the end, we got kind of on the same page. It got to the point where I wasn't even shaking pitches. I was like, all right, that's what you want. Let's go for it. So our pitcher-catcher relationship got really good. Our off-field relationship's always been good. Off the field, we took a little hit once fantasy football started. But I think I whooped him last week or two, so I think we're better now that I beat him. But no, I'm looking forward to throwing to Hickey and Teal, and honestly, I don't think I've met a catching prospect in our org that I don't love throwing to yet. So I'm looking forward to continuing to throw to him.
Okay, DC's a huge fantasy football guy. So, who'd you draft like, you know, you don't have to name them all, but, you know, just a couple of your top picks.
Well, being a Texas Tech guy, obviously I got Mahomes. Let's see, my running back room has taken a hit. I got Breece Hall, and then I got J.K. Dobbins, and I was kind of taking the rehab guys. And Breece Hall's we're good now. J.K. went down, so my RB2's just been kind of a revolving door of whoever I think is going to have a decent week. Then I got. Let's see. I got Amari Cooper and one CeeDee Lamb. I got Pacheco and one. You know, it's big Chiefs and Cowboys mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, more Cowboys than I want. But, you know, I've dealt with some injuries, so the record's not looking great. But we're just trying to sneak our way into the playoffs.
I'm in 4 leagues. I went into the summer thinking, you know, I'm going to do 1, and then I got talked into doing 3 more. I'm the 1 or 2 of the leagues I'm in first place, but I'm getting dismantled by injuries right now. It's awful, dude. And I just the 1 league that I'm in, it's a keeper. You have an offensive position, so you can start a quarterback. And I had Kirk Cousins, and I never picked up a third quarterback. So I dropped from first place to I think I'm in 3rd or 4th now, but I've lost like 2 in a row, and then losing him last week. Definitely kills me, man.
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be tough.
But Breece Hall, I think he's going to have a pretty big second half. I have him on my 1 squad. Obviously, the beginning, the first game, he kind of tricked me. Kind of tricked me. You know, he had that like 3 carries for 100 and some yards, and then he kind of just went nowhere. But he's on an upward trend for sure.
I'm hoping he stays, because if he goes down, I think I'm left with like Justice Hill and probably have to pick up some backup. That's about all that's left right now, because everybody's just stashing running backs on their bench. Oh yeah.
Do you when you draft, do you pay attention to bye weeks, or you just kind of just draft who, you know, best available? Because I don't pay attention. And this week, I think I have 6 people in my 1 league. It's bad.
I just draft because my thought process is, if I get the team that I want, and all of a sudden they're all on the same bye week, I should be like, even though I'm going to drop that week and, you know, lose it, I should be fine.
Oh, yeah.
But where I'm getting hit this year is like Mahomes. I don't remember who I have. Chiefs, one of the receivers. I have like Chiefs defense. And then another one of my running backs have a bye week, but also injuries have gotten me. So it's like all of my guys are on a bye week next week, and I'm already like 3-5 or whatever the record is. So I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it's just not my year. But I won it last year.
Every year's not my year.
I won the Salem league last year, so I'm not too upset.
Oh, that's awesome. I think I've won 1 league since like 2001, to be honest with you. It's terrible.
Hey, it's all
fun,
about the journey, right? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It just makes the next one that much sweeter.
Exactly.
Who else is in the league besides you and Hickey?
Let's see. We got Philip Sykes, Sharp, Wyatt Olds, Godman. Gambrell is the commissioner, which got a bone to pick with him. It was a bunch. And Brendan Nail, he was the one I was thinking of. It's a bunch of guys from Portland and AAA.
Who's leading? I gotta know.
Oh, who is it? I want to say Hickey was up there. I can't remember who's in first. I've just been eyeballing the middle of the pack of, all right, who do I need to get in front of just to sneak my way into the playoffs? That way,
yeah.
If I can just at least get into the playoffs and I don't even have to worry about getting last place and having to do the punishment.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you have a punishment for last place?
It's TBD right now.
Nice.
But
I see some crazy ones online. I'm afraid to get in a league like that, because I don't want to be the guy that gets the last place.
Yep.
Yeah. This here's my only fantasy football trophy. I had to give up pretty much my soul to get it. I traded draft picks, and it was. I took 3 years to rebuild after I gave up draft picks, but I had Christian McCaffrey, Kareem Hunt when he was going off. Man, who else did I have? Lamar Jackson was the quarterback. It was. I had to do a lot to get that trophy, but I got it, and that's all that matters to me. And now I was the last one because everybody got their own trophy, but now they want a traveling trophy, and nobody wants to give theirs up. So
I didn't know you played fantasy football.
I'm down to that league and that league only.
That's smart, man. 4 is way too many.
Yeah.
I struggle to keep it together. I have a good guy on my team, my main league, and then I'm playing him in my other league, and it's just like catch-22.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. I've gotten to the point where 2's my max, and I try to draft the same team as much as I can. That way I'm not in that position.
So, DC,
awesome.
you're up.
Do you follow basketball at all?
No, not really. College basketball a little bit, but now I try to not a big NBA person.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, so it kind of sucks. So you're not missing much. I think we talked about it before. Who do you like in NFL? Last time
Chiefs.
around? That's right. Yeah, I think they'll end up being there at the end of the year. That was a tough loss last week, or was it the week before? But I'm in a Survivor League, and they crushed a lot of people out of it, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that game, it was for some reason I just had a feeling going into Denver. I was like, I don't think we're gonna win this one, and I let my hopes get up against my better judgment, and because it had trap game written all over it.
Yeah,
and so I had a feeling it was coming. Didn't want to admit it, but you know what? We'll just take care of the Dolphins on, I guess it's Sunday morning since they're over in Germany. But hopefully we take care of that one and we'll be all good.
Nice. I hate to actually ask this because it goes against everything I preach against, because obviously Travis Kelce, but you a Swiftie?
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Just no.
We could just stop there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you sit there and see the costumes this year for Kelce and Taylor Swift?
I tried not to.
No.
They were all over Twitter, and I'm like, really? Like, come on now. That's going too far. So, but Hunter, so spring training 4 months away. So, what things are you going to be doing? Like, when does it start getting down to, okay, back to baseball mode? Getting back into the same mindset to enter spring training.
I'm still in baseball mode, just because I'm still focused on pitch development on the slider, on the cutter. I think it really starts to kick up probably right after the new year, because that's when I'll start my final ramp up arm-wise, start getting off the mound, and kind of final tweaks of getting the body right, getting ready to go, making sure everything's healthy. So, right after the new year, I'll kind of start to be full throttle again.
Okay, DZ?
I don't know if you can answer this because it'll probably give a little bit of a scouting report, away. But what's your go-to pitch when you need to get make that pitch? Which one's your favorite to throw?
It used to be the curveball and still is in certain situations. Again, it depends on the hitter. But I will say the new slider is starting to get to that point of it's moving quite a bit. I'm able to still throw it pretty firm for a slider, and I'm getting to the point where I can land it on either side of the plate pretty consistently. So I think that's going to be a huge weapon for me next year.
I was just there talking to a new guy that just joined our second show of ours, and he brought it to my attention that something I never thought about before ever. Throwing what's the difference between throwing on the left and the right side of the rubber? So
it's just straight deception. So I have a pretty over the top delivery. So if I start on the first base side of the rubber, it's almost going to look like, the old Iron Mike pitching machines.
Yeah.
Just straight over the top, straight down the middle. The hitter can track it really easily. And it's kind of funny is Costas is the one that I talked to about this, and he's really the main reason I switched over. And so with my arsenal and my arm slot and everything from the third base side of the rubber, I can actually add another, dimension of movement to the hitter's eyes. And then it also allows me to throw kind of my ride and cut fastball, the cutter and the slider to lefties a little bit more efficiently, and kind of messes with their eyes a little more as well.
Oh, yeah, because we were talking about the pitcher that started for the Diamondbacks. I want to say Game 3.
Was it the rookie?
Yeah.
Fought or something like that?
Yeah. Where all season he pitched on one side of the rubber, and then for that game, for some reason, he pitched on the opposite side. And, we were talking about that on the podcast, like how they must have really switched up the scouting report and messed up the batters, because if you think about it, if they're looking for something, all season going on one side of the rubber, and then all of a sudden he's not pitching from that side, it's going to take you a while to catch up, and I never even thought about that aspect, of pitching until he brought that up.
Yeah, there's not many guys that'll switch kind of from game to game. But I mean, yeah, like you said, it switched the scouting report probably quite a bit, because I mean, to hitters, kind of watching the release point is pretty big. And you watch the scouting report, you watch video and all that, and you kind of get used to, like, all right, it's going to be right here, it's going to do this. And I mean, you're moving your release point over to the side 17 inches. And I mean, that can have a pretty large effect on what the pitch looks like.
Yeah. So, DC, any final questions?
Did you tune into the World Series? Do you have anybody that you played with or came up with that at all that's on either one of those teams?
Yeah, Josh Young for the Rangers. He was my third baseman here at Tech my freshman year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I mean, I was a pretty big Rangers fan for the World Series.
Nice.
So,
I was stoked to see them beat the Astros, so I was rooting for them all the way.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was just happy to see the Rangers win their first one. The first one's always the sweetest. So,
yeah.
And seeing how some of the fans online were responding, man, it's cool to see. How people get connected to a team and how much emotion comes out of it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Rangers Astros series, because I mean, at the end of the day, there's Texas Tech guys on both of those teams, so I was good with either one. But I mean, the Rangers and the Astros fans are super passionate, so just like being in Texas for that, I mean, you're just, for the first time in a long time, I was walking around town and you just hear people arguing over it, and you're just like, so yeah, it's that time of the year for baseball. I was like, this is the perfect matchup to be living around here.
So, Hunter, thanks for having you come on. Let everybody know where they can reach out to you.
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram. I can't even remember my Twitter or my Instagram handles. But I mean, you can get a hold of me on there, shoot me a message, or just reach out whenever y'all feel like it.
Your Twitter handle is HunterD_20. The only reason that I remember that is from your last interview that you were on. I didn't put out the right one, and your little brother went right to my DMs and called me out on it. So,
out, man.
Hey, he's on it. I will say he is on it.
No, I really appreciate you coming back on. I'm sure we'll be shooting you a message, later or early 2024. See if you want to hop back on, just touch base. But really appreciate you giving us the time.
No problem. Anytime. I'm happy to hop on and talk to you guys.
So, well, guys, that is another great episode of the Pesky Podcast. For my man DC, for our good friend Hunter Dobbins, I'm the Ritt. Till next time on the Pesky Podcast.